Welcome, duelists, to the official start of round 2 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation Next tournament here on the HomeBoiz channel. Today we have Zaloog going up against Zane Truesdale, and as I've already gone over decks in round 1, I'm going to keep this part of the video very brief and just get straight into the action. Zaloog runs the Dark Scorpion deck, which consists of him and several other monsters that were in his gang of thieves, and generally they are Dark Warrior monsters with pretty low attack points, but their effects activate when they manage to do damage, which can range from making your opponent lose their hand, removing monsters or possibly even spells off the field, and even making your opponent throw away cards from the top of their deck. These spells and traps support them by raising their attack points even higher to make them more feasible monsters, and by also proceeding to annoy your opponents with hand removal, negation, etc., etc. And the side deck only further powers up this deck with spells and traps that change attack points and help provide some sort of level of protection. Zane Truesdale obviously runs a Cyber Dragon deck. Although I added my own improvements to it, it's still very imbalanced with 18 monsters and 21 spells and many conditional cards in this deck. In a 47 card deck, it's incredibly difficult to run and relies on a really good hand and a stable field. But when it does get into the fusion monsters, it aims to not only overpower your opponents, but to potentially one-turn kill them as well with a band of light machine monsters, and the side deck only further enhances that strategy. With all that being said, let the duel begin. With the first round of this matchup, it looks like Zane Truesdale is going to be going first. He's going to open up with the Pot of Greed card and set a monster, playing very defensively here. We're going to see Zaloog set 3 cards in the back row, so he's going to have lots of potential disruptions and protections. And he's going to start off with Dark Scorpion Cliff, the Trap Remover, who has the potential to destroy a spell or trap, or throw away Zane's top 2 cards of his deck when it manages to do damage. It's attacking with 1200, and this is absolutely bizarre here. We're gonna see Grave Robber, a trap card, activate in the middle of the battle phase, even though Zaloog just played it face down. It's very unclear why this is happening this way or what's wrong with the programming of this card, but it seems to be activating like a quick play spell instead of a trap card. Even then, with a quick play spell, you shouldn't be allowed to use it right now. So regardless, Zaloog is fucking cheating, and he's gonna go ahead and steal Zane's Pot of Greed and activate it now before running into the Cyber Phoenix for 400 points of damage. Drawing one more trap card, he's gonna set that face down and pass along to Zane's turn. At the start of his turn, during the during the draw phase, he's going to use Trap Dust Shoot, which he can use when Zane has 4 or more cards in his hand, forcing him to specifically pick a monster card and return it to the deck. But first, he's going to go ahead and activate his limiter removal here to double Cyber Phoenix's attack points. Now, while he could have waited to summon more machine monsters before he used this and doubled all their attack points, the monsters who gain this boost die at the end of the turn, so he's only going to lose the Cyber Phoenix, who now has 2400 to beat over Cliff. And he decided to actually get rid of his Cyber Dragon core, which is very surprising here, because he could have gotten rid of the Cyber Laser Dragon, which can't even be played without 2 monsters and a spell card. Actually very crazy decision right there. Cyber Phoenix is going to go over the cliff really easily and be destroyed, but when Cyber Phoenix gets destroyed, regardless of where it's from, it will allow you to draw a card, and Zane draws into the Cyber Dragon. Setting up for his turn, Zaloog flips over the Robin Goblin. The Robin Goblin is a continuous trap, meaning it's going to be sticking around for a while, which allows Zaloog to force Zane to discard a card every time he's dealt damage. Here comes the man himself, Zaloog, who can not only doubly force Zane to remove cards from his hand, but it also has the option to force him to throw away the top cards of his deck. Call of the Haunted, his second trap card, is going to bring back Cliff, who also has that milling effect. We're going to see him do 2600 points of damage. So first he's going to choose to throw away his top 2 cards, and he unfortunately loses his Cyber Dragon, which was randomly chosen by the Goblin. Then he's going to go ahead and take even more damage, losing 2 more cards out of his hand, leaving him with absolutely nothing left to play. Even though he has a polymerization here, he has no potential way of fusing without 2 different monsters. He draws into the Cyber Dragon Zwei and sets down his 2 spell cards so that they can't be thrown away with either the Dark Scorpion monsters or by the effect of the Goblin. And Zwei not only has 15 that is stronger than both of Zaloog's monsters, but during Zane's turn, it can increase his attack points by 300 for a little bit extra damage. We see Zaloog's final trap card, which is Needle Wall. So during his standby phase, he rolls a dice, and monsters from Zane's monster zone, will be destroyed depending on the number that he rolls, going from 1 to 5. So Zaloog is going to draw to begin his turn. We're going to see the number wall roll a 1. So thankfully, for Zane at least, he misses here. Now we're going to see the Dark Scorpion Cliff be equipped with the United We Stand. Now that Zaloog has Chick the Yellow, both monsters with the power of United We Stand will give his side of the field 1,600 extra attack points. So Cliff is boasting a massive 2,800 attack, but Zane had the face down quick play spell Battle Fusion, which makes his monster gain the attack of his opponent's battling monster, meaning Zwei goes up by 28, dealing 1,500 points of damage and removing the massive threat, leaving him with Chick the Yellow with only 1,000 attack points. Now we finally see the return of the Cyber Dragon Core, who's going to search a spell or trap card from the deck as long as it has Cyber in its name. And he's going to go ahead and grab the Cyber Roar. By revealing it, he can actually transform Cyber Dragon Zwei into Cyber Dragon for this turn only on the field. Then he's going to equip him with Cyber Dragon Roar, which will give him 300 attack points. But on top of that, when you equip Cyber Roar to a quote-unquote Cyber Dragon card, he equipped it onto a core. By equipping it to Cyber Dragon, it allows him to draw a card. With 2 Cyber Dragons, he can now go into polymerization to form the Cyber Twin, a 2,800 double beat stick. He's going to go ahead and do incredible amounts of damage and win round 1. Zane is going to go first for this second round because as the loser gets to choose, you kind of don't want Cyber Dragons to go second in case they draw the Cyber Dragon. Unfortunately for Zaloog though, Zane opened up with Cyber Dragon Core, who's going to search for a spell or trap. He's going to go for the combo with Cyber Roar, draw a card, and sacrifice the Core, who has very low attack points, in order to special summon the Cyber Pharaohs with 2,100 defense, who can, if Zane gets the right monsters out, fusion summon without the need for polymerization. He's going to go ahead and pass turn there. For Zaloog's turn, he's going to activate Reinforcement of the Army and chain with Mystical Space Typhoon to destroy Zane's face down card. Reinforcement of the Army is going to go ahead and grab another Dark Scorpion, which looks like Cliff the Trap Remover. Ironic because he removed the trap card Cyber Network. And he's going to summon himself once again with a quote-unquote strong 1,400. He's going to go ahead and pass turn after setting 2 more face downs. Zane can't really accomplish much, so he's going to set a monster and pass his turn as well. Going back over to Zaloog, he's going to go straight into the battle phase without normal summoning a single monster. He's going to strike the face down, which was Cyber Phoenix with 16, so he's going to take damage and pass turn, again without summoning, which I find very, very interesting here. Zane, on his move, is going to bring out the Cyber Dragon Zwei, reveal a spell card in his hand so that he will become Cyber Dragon, and then use Cyber Pharaoh's ability in order to conduct the fusion summon of Chimera Tech Overdragon with 2,400 and the ability to attack 3 times. However, Don Zaloog does in fact have Zero Hole, which can not only negate the effects of an effect monster, but remove it completely. We see that his other face down card is Robin Zombie, which whenever Zaloog manages to do battle damage to Zane now, Zane will lose the top card of his deck. But when Zane has no monsters on the field, and Zaloog does, he can remove from play the Cyber Dragon Core to summon Cyber Dragon straight out of his deck. He went ahead and brought out Chimera Tech with Pharaoh's ability instead of using Power Bond. That way he can save Power Bond for later and still get out his boss monster, or ace monster, forgive me, so that he can continue to have a play. He's going to easily run over Zaloog and pass turn, finally being the first person to get damage on the board on turn 6. Zaloog is going to summon himself once more and pass turn, so he has a new face down card, and he's going to activate the Zero Hole, removing the Cyber Dragon from the field. Zane unfortunately has no more monsters to play, so he's going to set 2 more cards for a total of 3 sets before bouncing it back to Dawn. Dawn is going to now play out the Cliff the Trap Remover, and here Zane is going to use Lost Pride, which allows him to steal one of Zaloog's spell cards in exchange for getting rid of a spell card in his own hand, and he chose to steal the Mystical Space Typhoon, but that doesn't stop him from taking damage here from the direct attack. So now with Cliff the Trap Remover and Robin Zombie in combination, Zane loses the top 3 cards of his deck, and it hurts to see him lose both the Poly and the Pot of Greed there. That really sucks. Now with Zaloog and Robin Zombie, he gets to conduct that exact same combo, and it looks like this time he did hit a Cyber Dragon as well as an instant fusion. So a lot of good cards were milled, and he only draws into the Battle Fusion, which is useless without a monster. So Dawn is going to summon a second Cliff, and he's going to repeat this loop again. So we're going to lose 3 more cards from the top of Zane's deck. Here comes a second Cliff for another 1200, totaling 24, and now Dawn himself for a grand total of 3800 damage. Zane cannot possibly take any more hits, and he draws a trap card that cannot help him in this situation, leaving him with no defenses. So round 2 is going to go to Don Zaloog as he continues to mill Zane's cards. Honestly, if you were to look at the decks on paper, it shouldn't have come to this whatsoever, but here we are, Don Zaloog versus Zane Truesdale for the end-all, be-all, and we're going to see him open up with Pot of Greed and use the Magical Mallet to return cards and itself to the deck, and for every card that was returned to the deck by that effect, Don Zaloog will get extra, or that many cards once he shuffles, so he has effectively a full brand new hand of 6. And he basically didn't lose anything for it. We're going to see him open up with the Dark Scorpion Burglars and the A-Forces spell card. So the more warriors he has on his field, the more they're all going to power up by an increment of 200. So 2, 4, 6, etc. Burden of the Mighty here is actually going to reduce Zane's attack points by 100 times the level of each monster, and we have 2, so that's going to be a decrease of 200 times each of his monsters' levels. Seeing how he's going to respond, he's going to use MST not on either one of the burdens, but directly on the A-Forces to reduce the attack points of all of Don Zaloog's monsters, bringing them back to their base. He's just going to simply T-set. Zaloog is now with 3 face-down cards in his back row, and he's going to, with only 1,000 attack points, crash right into Zane's monster, assuming that since it defended from a 1000 beat stick, that it probably isn't that strong. Alas, it was a fucking trick. It was Cyber Phoenix, so he takes another 600 points of damage, and Cyber Phoenix is really playing Dio here. Trap Dust Shoot is going to activate and get rid of that Cyber Dragon that Zane just drew, which really sucks. Shuffled right back into the deck. Zane's going to set a monster and pass turn. And Zaloog gets another A-Forces. So really, getting rid of the first A-Force made absolutely no difference. He ran over with the Burglars a Cyber Larva. So Cyber Larva will summon out another copy, leaving 1 more in its deck. And back to Zane for this next round of the duel. We're going to see Cyber Dragon Core come out in search. We reveal now that Don Zaloog has Robin Zombie, and Zane actually has Cyber Network. So, as long as he has a Cyber Dragon, which Core changes his name on the field, he can remove from play Light Machines from his deck and summon them later on in the future at the cost of his battle phase and all those monsters' effects. So he's setting up for something big here, potentially, if he can get the right pieces in play. And he just loves the Cyber Roar combo with Core. He's going to draw another card and immediately set it. I didn't even see what it was, to be frank with you. Burglars is going to attempt to run over the 300 attack Cyber Dragon Core, but he's going to respond with Cybernetic Revolution, which sacrifices Cyber Dragon on his side of the field to bring out a fusion monster of his choice for approximately 2 turns. So looks like Zane is actually going to be choosing the Cyber Eternity Dragon, who only has 800 because it is a level 10 fusion with 2 Burdens of the Mighties on the field. Instead of swinging over that, since it's going to die anyways, the Burglars is going to attack Zane's Larva instead, getting him his, I believe, final copy out onto the field. before passing it over to Zane for his turn. That's one turn for Cyber Network before all of his banished monsters come out, and he's going to normal summon Hertz in attack mode, even though it has very low stats, so that he can get the banish effect for Network going to get a second copy of Cyber Dragon removed from play for later. Then he's going to use Hertz and link it away for the Cyber Dragon Saiger, which Saiger can boost the attack points of one of his machine monsters as long as Saiger itself hasn't attacked yet, I believe. Something or another along those lines, but Saiger can't do damage to the opponent if it uses that effect. More importantly though, since Cyber Dragon Hertz was actually sent to the graveyard, Zane is going to get the final copy of Cyber Dragon added to his hand before going into battle and running over the burglars. For Don Zaloog's turn, he actually drew into the Chick the Yellow, which isn't going to help him too much here, but he's going to call the Haunted for burglars. Zane's going to respond with banishing the Cyber Pharaohs, and burglars hits the field again alongside Chick the Yellow, giving them 1,400 attack points each to swing over the larva with, and that is all for his turn. Zane goes and uses the Cyber Network once again to actually grab the Cyber Keyring, which is very, very intriguing. Here he's going to go for the Monster Reborn spell, allowing him to revive any monster from either graveyard, choosing Cyber Dragon Hertz here, and he's going to normal summon Cyber Dragon Dry, who on normal summon will change the levels of all Cyber Dragons to level 5, allowing Zane to exceed into the Cyber Dragon Nova. Nova, by banishing the Cyber Dragon that's in his hand, will double its own attack points to 4,200. And Saiger is going to take the first attack on Chick the Yellow. Then there goes Nova over the burglars, leaving Don Zaloog with only 2,800 life points remaining. Switching Phoenix into attack mode gives protection for his other machine monsters, and he's going to Xyz change the Nova into the Cyber Dragon Infinity, who can then absorb monsters during Zane's turn as long as they're in attack mode, giving it more attack points per Xyz material that it has, as well as allowing it the ability to negate any one card activation or effect during either player's turn. So, with this incredible turnaround, Zaloog only has the Snatch Steal, which is a deadly card that can steal any monster it so pleases, but since it can be negated by the Cyber Dragon Infinity, and he has no other plays, it looks like this round of the duel would have been Zane's if it wasn't for the Cyber Network activating. He gets to summon out all these different machines from which he banished. However, this turn, not only do they not have their effects, he is not allowed to go into the battle phase to attack anybody. In addition to that, they all lose attack points. Thankfully for him though, both Saiger and Infinity don't have a level, which is what Burden of the Mighty reduces your attack based upon. Saiger doesn't have any stars whatsoever, and Xyz monsters have a rank instead of a level, so he has two really huge loopholes around that. Here's the Magical Mallet, which Zane is going to go ahead and negate, because obviously if I see that my opponent has nothing, I want them to stay with nothing, and it's going to look like that was a bait apparently, because he's going to come out with the Snatch Steal. Cyber Dragon Hertz is going to go ahead and grab a second Cyber Dragon Core and add that to Zane's hand, and now Don Zaloog has the power of Cyber Dragon Infinity at his disposal, allowing him to absorb the Link monster and the ability to, I believe, negate up to 4 different cards here, only once per turn, of course. The downside to Snatch Steal for the user is the opponent will start gaining life points, but if you can chip away fast enough, that's going to be really insignificant. Core is going to activate its effect to search for a Cyber Spell or Trap card, and Zaloog allows it. So there we go with the search for the Trap card over there. He's going to set 2 and pass turn. Zaloog is going to use its ability to absorb Core, which is going to go through. Now with 3,100, it's going to slowly be wrecking Zane's field, depleting him of all the Cyber Dragons that he has left. He's going to attempt the Fusion Sage, and it goes through, but Fusion Sage, while it only grabs Polymerization, Power Bond actually counts as polymerization according to its anime ability. So here we see the Cybernetic Fusion support, pays half his life points, and Zaloog lets that go through. He's probably waiting for the Power Bond to come out first. Cyber Dragon Core is going to get off, so he gets another search as well. Now we're going to see the Cybernetic Overflow. And by banishing Cyber Dragons with different levels, he can destroy that many cards on Zaloog's field. That's obviously a really huge problem, so he's gonna have to negate that, whether he knows it's a trap or not. So there you go, detaching material to get rid of Overflow, allowing room for the Power Bond to come out, because you're just kind of in a bad situation. No matter what you pick, you're going to be losing your monster here. So with double the attack points, but minus 1600, Cyber Twin Dragon is left with 4,000 attack with 2 attacks this turn, and here is the limiter removal to double all of their monsters. So we have an 8,000 double attack. Zane Truesdale has won the duel.